Good morning, internets. It is, well, our starting temperature this morning is 50 degrees. That's 50, not 15, 50, 50. And the starting range for the 2012 Chevy Volt Premium is 36 miles, which seems to be the case kind of no matter where the temperature fluctuates lately, the last couple of days. So, as you already know, the title of this video is Some Stuff I Was Wrong About. And if you are one of the 41 people who had a chance to see yesterday's video before I had to take it down, then you know what I was wrong about. But if you didn't get a chance to see it, I want to make sure to share just how wrong I was about some stuff and how I got that way. So, this is pretty embarrassing because this has yet to happen to me, but, you know, we all make mistakes, so here's what it is. I have been having trouble with my taxes. I file my taxes every year through TurboTax because TurboTax is the cheapest way for me to file a wide variety of, forms and paperwork that I have to do every year because I have more than one job. Some of those jobs are independent contracting jobs. I have my teaching job. I have other things that I do on the side. I have a home business. I have to file independent contracting work for a nanny agency that I do here whenever there's a special needs client that they need, a sitter for or supervision for with somebody who has a little more experience and understanding of special needs. I go work there, so I have independent contracting things to file from them. I have other stuff to file for a website that contracts me to develop content for automotive blogs, and things like that. So anyway, I've got a mess of things that I have to do every year at tax season. This year, I was led to believe that among the things I had to do at tax season was to deal with, a form for having purchased an electric vehicle. Now, the reason that I was led to believe this, and I should have done more of my own research, was one, at the time that I purchased this here Volt, I was told that I would qualify for a tax incentive the following year, that it wouldn't be as much as the $7,400, $7,500 tax incentive that people get for buying, a new electric car, but that it would be, some small amount, and that I would have to file a form about it. And the salesman made sure to reinforce to me over and over again that that was something that I qualified for, and that something that I needed to make sure that I didn't screw myself out of, and I needed to file for. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Catherine, when I bought my Volt or EV or hybrid of whatever kind, I did a whole bunch of research first. And I knew that if I bought something used, I would not qualify for that tax incentive. And you were right to do so. But for those of you who don't know the story about how I came to purchase this here vehicle, I did not do planning or research to purchase this vehicle. In fact, it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I had an 06 Volkswagen Passat that I really, really adored and was completely in love with, and had done a lot, and my family had done a lot to keep the thing on the road. But due to certain mechanical issues, the thing ended up with a repair estimate that was more than the vehicle was worth. And I was told by a mechanic that I trust very, very much that this thing is not going to get you through the end of the month, and you need to do something about it today, right now. And when a mechanic that I trust tells me something, I try to do what that guy says. And so literally that day, I went home and I applied to see what I could get, financed for at CarMax. Cleared all of the, grabbed a computer and cleared all the codes in the Passat, and put a bunch of heavyweight motor oil in it to stop the ticking, and went and traded it in on this. So we were there, and I got off work, went to see my mechanic, and was at CarMax within 2 hours of that, and then we were at CarMax until 10 p.m. that night. I was not leaving without a different car. So there wasn't a lot of research. And when I went there, what I went there to get was a Honda Fit. Now, I'm really glad I didn't get the Honda Fit. I am. I absolutely love that I ended up in a Volt, because the Fit actually that they had on the lot, it was a really nice car, a perfectly reasonable car, but it was cloth interior. And, the little wheels with plastic hubcaps, and, not a lot of bells and whistles and stuff. And it was $2,000. It was priced $2,000 more than this car. And this is so nice. It has all the premium features. I'd never had an EV before, or a plug-in hybrid, or like nothing alternative fuel whatsoever. I was strictly ICE only, and it was all I knew. And you know, Rob and I are looking at the Volt, and I said, do you know anything about these things? Because I knew literally nothing about the Volt at the time that I bought it. And he goes, I know that they're really nice. I know that people really like them, and I know that they're extremely reliable. That's what I know about the Volt so far from what I've been able to read. And I was like, screw it, let's take it. You know, we looked up real quick on our phones, like, what do people have to say bad about them? And there really wasn't a whole lot people had to say bad about them. And I listened to all the blah blah from the salesman, and that all seemed legit, and he sent me out the door with my Volt. So I was told by him that, you know, I would qualify for some sort of EV tax credit, whatever. I didn't look into it a whole bunch, or basically at all. I was just like, yeah, that's fine. I have a car. I can get back to work. So, you know, and I have a lot of work to do. I have many things going on. So, you know, I'm on my merry way with my Volt. Everything's cool. I don't think about the tax credit again until it's time to do my taxes this time. As soon as I get my pile of, you know, 1099s and W-2s and all my paperwork, it's like this thick of all the crap that I have to do every year for my income. And this year was particularly bad because I had more going on in 2017 than I ever have before. But so I get all that together, and I go into TurboTax and start putting in all of my stuff. And the reason that I use their service is because it's very easy. It's very straightforward to use it, and I've never had any issues until now. So, you know, they asked, you know, did you get married in 2017? Why, yes, I did get married. So that was an event, you know, that I had to, you know, it was my first time filing as a married person, and et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, like, did you purchase a house? No, I did not purchase a house. Did you purchase a car? Why, yes, TurboTax, I did purchase a car. Thank you so much for asking. And then they asked me what kind of car I purchased. So I, you know, click the box that says that I, you know, drive an alternative fuel vehicle. And they're like, great, you qualify for a tax credit. I said, yes, I know. The salesman told me so. Thank you so much, TurboTax. And then the little TurboTax thing comes up and says, okay, just put in your VIN and the year and, you know, whatever, blah, 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 blah here, and the mileage at the time that you bought it. So I'm looking at all that, and I'm taking all of this to mean that everything I've been told is correct, and that I do, in fact, qualify for highway patrol pickup trucks are out today. Gotta watch out for them guys. All right. Anyway, so I put in that information for that form, and it accepts it. It sees that it's a 2012. It sees that, you know, I bought it with, you know, just under 50,000 miles on it, or no, just under 60,000 miles on it, and the VIN and all that, and then it, you know, little loading, working on your request. And then it goes, bidding, all right, accepted. And then it just moved me right along to the next form. Silly me, I assumed that TurboTax knew what it was doing when it came to taxes, because they've never screwed me over before. And technically they really didn't now. It's just some kind of error. So see what happened was, what I said yesterday, I came out and I finished all my taxes, and they're like, okay, we can't submit your taxes because the IRS opened later than normal this year, because they are underfunded, which I talked about in yesterday's video. And in addition to that, they have yet to approve the EV form. Now, what happens with the IRS is that every year, and there he goes, highway patrol, pickup truck, going to get somebody right now. Cannot mess around with these guys. Oh, where was I? Get so excited seeing the highway patrol. Who'd he get? Little red car. That's why you don't drive a red car, man. That's why. Ooh, a Civic. Playing Speed Racer in a Civic. Anyhoozle. So they tell me about the form, and the IRS is not accepting this form anymore. And I'm like, or at this time, not accepting it at this time, have yet to approve it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then February 14th rolls around. Which is when they're supposed to accept it. And then it gets kicked again to sometime, you know, last week. And then that date comes up last week, and they still haven't accepted it. Now, they're not accepting this form for everybody. Not just me, dum-dum, who filled out the form even though she didn't qualify. They're not accepting it for anybody. So as I'm looking this up, I'm like, this is weird that everybody's, so like my entire tax return is held up because of this form. Now, it turned out I didn't qualify for that return anyway. One moment. I didn't qualify for that portion of the return anyway. I don't qualify for that tax incentive, but a lot of people do. There are a lot of people who I'm, you know, talking to people online and reading stuff. You know, there are people who bought brand new Teslas last year, and part of the reason that they bought it was because they knew that they were going to get that $7,400 or $7,500 back as a tax incentive, you know, come tax time. And they're not getting that money that they're owed by the government, because that's the law, and, you know, they were told that you're going to get that money back. And that was part of the reason, that was part of the incentive, as it is a tax incentive, for purchasing the EV in the first place. So there's a lot of people getting their taxes held up by this who were like pissed off. They're like, basically, I gave the government an interest-free loan of $7,500, and now they're talking about maybe never even paying it back. And, you know, that's a pretty serious thing that's going on. But anyway, I posted my video yesterday bitching about how I can't file my taxes, and a lot of people who purchased EVs in 2017 can't file their taxes. And a couple people were like, and everybody was super nice, but a couple of people were like, we get where you're coming from, Catherine, but just so you know, we don't think you qualify. And I was like, incorrect. You were incorrect, because I was told by... I know better than that, guys. I'm really super sorry. Like, because when I catch somebody spouting some BS and I'm like, no, it's like, listen, like that. And they go, well, I was told. Do you ever give a damn about what that person was told by some other idiot that you didn't meet? No, 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 no. I know better. I know better. I know better. And instead, I'm just another lame mouthpiece on the internet, blah-blahing about crap I don't know about. And oh my God, the Highway Patrol has somebody else pulled over less than 3 miles later. This is hilarious. Woo-wee! And we have a move over law in the state of Nevada, which means you got to give these guys space if you at all can. They pulled over the lobster truck. Oh, brutal. Okay. Woo! Safety first. But anyway, so I'm just another dum-dum on the internet complaining about crap I don't actually know anything about. Feeling very, very dumb. So then I was like, oh, what do I do? I do not want to, I don't want to just take the video down and then not address it, because I was wrong about something, and I spread potentially misinformation about something, which I feel pretty bad about. But at the same time, I didn't want to just leave it up and not address it, because you can't count on people to read the comments. A lot of times people will just watch a video and they won't read the comments. So even if I put down in the comments or even in the description, hey guys, oh God, something in my head. Hey guys, I got something wrong about this, basically everything wrong about this, and here's what it was. So I thought, I'm like, okay, I could write in the description maybe and itemize the mistakes I made, or something. No, that wasn't going to be good enough. So I took the video down immediately when I realized the mistake I had made, and how dumb it was. And then I wanted to make a video today addressing it. So I'm really, really sorry, and thank you for those of you who caught me being wrong. And here's one of the things that I really like about this channel so far, is that the number of people who have, even when I'm incorrect about something, or when somebody disagrees, just flat out disagrees with me, everybody's so nice. Like, nobody is like, oh, you stupid idiot, here's all the stuff you got wrong, you dumb girl. Like, nobody talks to me like that. Everybody's just super nice, and I really appreciate you guys for that. To the individual whom, and I cannot remember for the life of me, because I replied to the comment, and I told somebody, like, no, you're incorrect. I do qualify for the tax break. It's just lesser than, or the tax incentive, it's just less than if I had bought a new vehicle. That was based on, you know, me being given misinformation by a salesman, which I should have, of course, double checked. But again, we were there until 10 p.m. that night, and then I moved on with my life. And based on the fact that TurboTax even accepted the form in the first place, I would think that once you put in the information that your car is not new and they see that it's used, and, you know, you put in the VIN number to get the thing, they'd be like, this is a used car and you don't qualify for this, but here's some other stuff that you might qualify for, because it's TurboTax and it's super friendly the way it's set up. But it didn't. It just accepted it, and then it held the form. And basically what would have happened is that the IRS, when they did start accepting those forms, one of two things would have happened. They would have kicked it back and been like, no, you don't qualify for this, dum-dum. Or they would have seen it as me trying to claim a tax benefit that I'm not actually entitled to, which is illegal, and then that could result in some kind of irritating ramifications. I don't really know. I've never had any tax problems before. I don't know what comes next. I'm not going to pretend to. But anyway, for the individual whom I responded to, I cannot remember which one of you it was. I know it was I think it was one of my regulars who comments in the comments. Anyway, I love you, great big bunches. Really super sorry I told you wrong, that you were wrong when you were right, and I won't do it again. But anyway, this is my first experience on this channel so far with something like this, where I ran on at the mouth about some stuff I apparently didn't know anything about, and then embarrassed myself. So it's already a pretty rough week, and then to have that happen in the middle of it, I feel kind of stupid about. But anyway, I didn't want to leave it out there and have people misinformed, but I also didn't want to not address it. I wanted to talk to you guys about it this morning and explain what happened and how it happened and why it happened. And also that I've learned my lesson. You can't trust people or computer systems. You can't, you have to do your own research. I know I have to do my own research. I thought I was speaking to a professional. I was made to feel very at ease during the sales experience. But you know what? I should have known better, because the salesman who sold me the Volt didn't really know very much about the Volt at all. Rob had to correct him several times about, some of the specs that the guy was quoting on the Volt and that he didn't know. And then he also told us that plugging it in was essentially optional because it has the onboard generator, which is technically true. You technically don't have to plug in your Volt to run it, but you're not, if you don't have a place to park and plug in, you're not really getting what you could get out of this vehicle. You might as well drive a Prius, because you're going to get probably comparable, if not better, gas mileage than, Model X, cool, than if you, than if you were to just run on the Volt gas only. And at that point, why? I don't know. But anyway, so even I saw that the salesman was inaccurate about that stuff, but I didn't go double check him on the tax thing because of why? Because I didn't do my due diligence. And guys, on top of all of this stuff, I'm a teacher, so there's no greater sin than passing along false information. It's one thing if I have an opinion that people don't agree with, and that's cool, and I have a lot of those. That's totally fine, all good. But it's another thing if I claim something is a fact that's not a fact, and that's heinous and unacceptable. And I'm really sorry, guys. I hope everybody sticks with me with the channel. And in the future, I could make another mistake in the future. I will do my level best to not make mistakes like this again in the future, because at this point, there are some people who I'm communicating with on the channel where they've come here to find information about electric vehicles that they didn't have prior, where, I've become, or at least in part, some kind of source for information about EVs or the lifestyle or the EV scene in Las Vegas or EV infrastructure, like EV news, things like that. And I take that seriously. If somebody relies upon me for accurate information, and it is in fact my job to provide accurate information to people because I am a teacher, and then I've gone ahead and created a video where I was spreading inaccurate information. Somebody told me something that was BS, and then I spread that BS and passed it along. So thank goodness nobody just accepted my BS at face value, and I had a lot of comments down below that were like, oh my god. But just so you know, one accurate part of it is that the form for the EV tax incentive, it is still being held up. So if you have that, if you did buy a brand new electric vehicle, and I know somebody bought a 2012 Chevy Volt, if you did buy a brand new electric vehicle and you've tried to file your taxes, they have not been accepted by the IRS yet, which means you have that much longer to wait. It typically, once your forms are accepted by the IRS, you have around 3 weeks to a month to wait before your return hits if you do direct deposit. If you have them cut you a paper check, I don't know how long that takes because I've never done it. So I'm not going to pretend to know. But your taxes are being legitimately held up now by the IRS. And the reason for that is the department within the IRS that's in charge of approving the forms has been cut and cut and cut and cut. And there's basically nobody there. There's very few people there. They have much less staff available to approve these forms than they had in years previous. And the reason for that is that the current administration has totally slashed budgets all over the place, has refused to staff their cabinet, and has refused to staff a lot of government agencies. And that's become a problem. It is extremely popular for both sides of the political spectrum, both the left and the right, to cut the budget and limit funding for the IRS, because when you say that we're going to, limit administrative costs and we're going to start with the IRS, that's a popular thing to do because nobody likes the IRS. They're like, ew, yeah, screw the tax man. We don't want to spend money on that. But guys, the IRS is an important and essential government agency that we need in order to collect funds to help the government run. And when citizens are owed money back at the end of the year, they're in charge of distributing those funds. So if you cut money to the IRS and you cut their staff, they're not going to be able to perform that job very efficiently. Nobody likes to pay taxes. Nobody enjoys that, but it's a necessary part of living in literally any country in the entire world, and it's important. And right now they're really, really, really understaffed, and they're really, really, really underfunded, and it's holding up everybody's stuff. Now, I know a lot of people, if you filed a 1040-EZ, it's already been accepted, and I know people personally who have already gotten their tax returns and their tax refund, and that's great. But for those of us who don't have the ability or the option of filing a 1040-EZ in, you know, the simplest form possible, you know, that process is all but completely automated with the government, so they can get you your refund like that with one of those. But if you have anything more complex than that, it requires a manual review, and that is the reason that things are being held up. Now, I have, as soon as I found out yesterday that things were wrong, I contacted TurboTax. I had them remove the form. I alerted them to the fact, like, hey, you guys are accepting this. You know, for people who might not know, who might have bought a used EV last year, I'm one of them. Here's the dumb thing I did. Other people might have also done this dumb thing, and I communicated with them via email, and they were very nice, and said that they would look into it. I have no idea if they're actually going to look into it. I might have been talking to a robot. I have no idea, but it was a very nice robot. But anyway, I did what I could to let them know that when somebody puts in a used EV, don't accept the thing and kick it back, and like just have a little one paragraph thing like, hey, we understand why you thought, but here's why you're wrong, and you can't claim a tax credit you're not entitled to because it's illegal, and then smiley face, and then move on to next form, click continue, whatever. You know, that's, I think, what they should do, so that when someone, you know, pulls a dum-dum like I did, that you're not held up for 3 weeks. Because I was sitting on my return for 3 weeks, cursing the IRS, being like, oh my God, they're holding up a tax return because I'm entitled to money that I'm not entitled to. And I got super mad. But as it turns out, I was at least half right. If you are entitled to that tax credit, that is still being held up. And yesterday they said it was going to be March 2nd is when they are going to start accepting those forms, but earlier in the day they said March 8th, so who knows what that date actually is. That's not the date that they are going to actually start accepting the forms. That's the date at which they have to review whether or not they can accept the forms, and it's probably going to be the date they announce the next bump date. I think it's definitely a sign of the times that they're that backlogged they can't get people that money. I know that there's a whole bunch of debate with the current administration about eliminating the EV tax credit altogether, which I think would be pretty terrible. I don't think they should do that, but they're gonna try. We've got Rex Tillerson in the cabinet. They're gonna try to eliminate the EV tax credit. Like, that doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure that out. And you know, they've eliminated 2/3 of the EPA. All that's good. They could give a damn about electric vehicles. They could give a damn about the environment. They don't care. So they're going to try to remove the hippie liberal EV tax credit. I'm positive of it. They've already talked about it, and you know, they can't do it for 2017. But I don't know. They might try to push something through. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things. I don't want to say that they can't do that, because every time I have thought, like, this administration can't possibly do that, they do that. They do some crazy, wacky, rabbit out of the hat, Willy Wonka level goofy crap, and you're just like, okay. I keep waiting for the consequence, but the consequence never comes. They just keep on screwing. No lube or nothing. Just screwing the people. I digress. Anyway, guys, that's what happened with the tax thing. That's what happened with the EV thing. That's what I was wrong about. I hope this has helped clear things up a little bit. I feel like I've gotten a little babble happy, so we're going to go ahead and cut it here. But that's what it is. Tomorrow, I will get right back to EV news. And yeah, tomorrow will be a better day, but today's a good day too. So if this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for watching. I'm ordinarily not this wrong about stuff, so please consider subscribing right over here, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Here's some other videos I'm positive you'll enjoy way more right down here. My name is Catherine with EVs of Nevada. I hope everybody's having a really great day, and please remember to like, subscribe, and smile.